Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I'm back with you all for your chemistry online class. I was taking up water and I told you about the removal of hardness of water and water pollution in my last lecture. Let's quickly revise it. I had told you that temporary hardness of water can be removed by boiling, because boiling removes what? It converts the bicarbonate into carbonate and carbon dioxide is released, and this calcium bicarbonate can be filtered out and we can get the soft water. Is that clear? Then the removal of the permanent hardness. Now this permanent hardness can be removed by adding washing soda. How is it done? That is, we know that the permanent hard water contains the calcium and magnesium chlorides and sulfate dissolved in it, so they can be removed by adding this washing soda, formula Na2CO3. This again converts into the insoluble layer is formed on the top, that is of calcium carbonate or magnesium carbonate, and this can be filtered out and water becomes soft, and the sodium sulfate that is left out is or sodium chloride that is left out is not at all harmful. It does not add to the hardness of the water. Is that clear? Then what is water pollution? Then I have told you water pollution is contamination of water with any undesirable, unwanted, toxic substances that make it absolutely unfit for human consumption, either for drinking or any other process, any other activity. Is that clear? Or any other purpose. So the harmful and unwanted substances that contaminate or pollute the water body is known as the water pollutant. Is it clear? So what are the example of these water pollutants? They are of course chemical waste from industries and agriculture, that is they are discharged into the water body, and they are dumped into the waste in the form of wastewater directly into the rivers or into the pond or a lake without any treatment. Now we are also adding up large amount of pesticides and fertilizers, and these chemicals dissolve in water and ultimately find their way to water bodies, and they become dangerous for the aquatic life. Is that clear? Then the domestic sewage, liquid waste from homes, kitchens and toilets, that the peels of fruits and vegetables, and then plastic waste, everything is discharged into river through sewage system also. Then the human activities like the washing of the clothes or bathing of human beings and animals in or near maybe near lakes and rivers, whatever water that they are using is being discharged into the nearby rivers and lakes, or the garbage is being thrown direct, and the garbage is being dumped into water bodies directly, and it just can be the carelessness of the people themselves or the carelessness of the municipal corporation which are responsible for disposing the waste. Is that clear? Then there are oil spills also, which are a major cause of concern nowadays because they pollute the water and make it unfit for aquatic and marine plants and animals. Then the thermal pollution is there, that is a large number of water is used by power plants for cooling, and this for the water that is used for cooling becomes hot now, and it is discharged into the nearby water body, and as a result of which the aquatic life is affected. It is harmful for the aquatic life. Then how can we use the methods of prevention and control of water pollution? That is, we should discourage or restrict the bathing of human beings and animals, or washing clothes and cleaning utensils in water bodies, or discouraging them from defecating in the open. Then excessive use of fertilizers and pesticide in agriculture should be discouraged. Instead, we should adopt organic farming. Then use of biodegradable detergent. Then public should be educated about the harmful effects of water pollution. So let's proceed on further with this chapter. Now, what is water conservation? Now we all know that water is a very precious natural resource because no life can exist without it. Exactly, all the activities of human beings, animals, or the growth of the plants are more or less dependent on water, and without water no life can exists. That is why we call it a very precious natural resource. Is that clear? So the amount of water that is available to us in the form of fresh water is less, very less. Is that clear? So we should conserve water. How much water is available to us in the form of fresh water? Now you can see this. This is the accessible surface water, fresh water, that is available to us, and that includes 29% groundwater and just 1% fresh water. Other water are in various other forms. That is, fresh water, if you just sum up all these things, ocean water contributes 97% of the water content on earth, and 3% of fresh water only is available to us. So it is a very precious resource, and we should conserve it. Otherwise a time will come that water will be this fresh water will disappear from the earth forever. Exactly, and life will come to an end. So we should conserve it. What is conservation of water? So what does this water conservation mean? It refers to reducing the usage of water and recycling the wastewater for different purposes such as cleaning, manufacturing and agricultural irrigation. Is that clear? That is, all the water which is available to you, first of all reduce the usage of that water, and whatever water that you have used and you have that water has been discarded in the form of wastewater, this wastewater should be recycled and be used in other forms such as for purposes like which are apart from cooking and drinking, that is for cleaning purposes, cleaning of your cars or the mopping the floor or something like that, or manufacturing, that is in industries, and in the process of agriculture, that is for irrigation. In agricultural practices like irrigation, that is watering the fields and watering the plants. Is that clear? So this is done, this should be done with lot of concern for the proper usage of water. So this water conservation encompasses various policies which have been given by the government, strategies, that is how to work on these policies, and activities, that is the work that should be done for these fulfilling these strategies. So how these things can be made to manage fresh water as a sustainable resource to protect the water. Is that clear? So what should we do in order to conserve water? What are the practices that we can adopt? That is, you can see this, that close the taps immediately after use and repair the leaking taps. Is that clear? So after using the taps, or when we are brushing or our teeth or shaving or washing clothes, we should not leave the taps open. Instead, when water is needed, then only we should use the tap. Otherwise keep it open, keep it closed. Then this is a very common sight, that we just switch on the motor and the tanks get filled up over a tank, and we don't take any heed of these overflowing tanks. So we should keep an eye on these overflowing tank, and as soon as they are filled, we should switch off the motor so that there is no overflow. Is that clear? Then whatever water that has been used for washing vegetables to water the plants in the garden, we can use it. So we can reuse this water in various ways. That is, we can collect and store rainwater, and we can use this water for plants, or for mopping the floor, or for washing cars and bikes. And at times storm water, or there have been rains after storm, or the snow melts, falls on the runoff land, we should try to conserve this water. Then wastewater from toilets and kitchen sinks in homes and businesses, we can use this for watering the plants, and it can be included in the form of sewage, and after treatment it can be used for in industries. Then we should adopt rooftop harvesting of water. This is the water collected on the rooftop, and there is a drain, you can see over here, and this has an underground connection with a underground tank inside. And then this water which is collected from the rooftop can be used for various purposes. So this is rooftop harvesting of water. We are using this water, we are collecting this water, and we are using it for several purposes. So in this method, if you just brief it, that is, rainwater is collected on the roof and stored in underground tanks, and from this underground tank this water is allowed to seep into the earth. So this maintains the water table also. Maintenance of the water table can be done by this. Then afforesting, or planting more and more trees. Is that clear? And this helps in rainfall also. So for irrigation is the watering of the fields or watering of the plants, we should use drip and sprinkle method of irrigation to prevent any wastage of water. So here you can see the sprinkling method of applying water to the soil surface in the form of spray.